no money, that's an asshole. It wasn't a phase.
Podcast, and we are here in a different studio, a little too cramped with the shake.
Yes, that's us. Thank you for having us.
No, thank you guys for coming out. Thanks for dealing with the technical difficulties, because I'm going to talk about them forever. And I know in the Backyard Bash episode, we kind of went through how you guys got together and whatnot. And I just want to have a little refresher for the people who are watching.
I'll do the abridged version because I felt like I was going on and on last time. But
that's okay.
So we used to be a backing band for a reggae artist, and there was the situation that we were dealing with him was he was a big taker. Took a lot from us. I was writing a lot of songs for him. He quit multiple jobs. Aquila had left just before I came in, and I became the drummer, and then he was the backup drummer. But there was a lot of times where I couldn't be able to play that he would come in, or we'd be playing shows and he would show up and he would play and stuff like that. So that's how we all kind of met. And then a really unfortunate situation happened with some incredible manipulation that we all did kind of band together and was like, we're not going to deal with this anymore.
I love the solidarity.
What?
Like the solidarity, like, okay, I quit.
Yeah.
And we're all leaving.
Well, it was one of those things where we were in a hotel room in Houston, Texas, was it?
Yeah.
We were in a hotel room in Houston, Texas, and the situation was happening at the time. I don't want to go into detail about the actual situation.
That's what we're here for. We're here
yeah,
for
I know, but I don't want to put like I don't want. Yeah, I understand.
What
the hell just happened?
I want to touch the ground too.
My lord, you're short enough as it is. Yeah, I don't want to add anybody, but so it was a weird situation, and I said to Joe that if this transpires the way that I thought it was going to transpire, that I would also leave. And so Joe spoke up about something that we all felt was just, and got fired from it.
What'd you say, Joe?
I kind of disagreed with how things were operating in the band. Several shows were canceled in the matter of like 2 weeks that were paying our bills, essentially. Yeah. And I didn't think it was a great idea. And I said something about that. And I was told, well, this is the way it works, and you're either on board or you're not. And I was cool, see you later.
I was literally sitting there, and like we're in this like Facebook group chat, and they tell us to like.
You messaged me. You were like, "Oh shit!"
I was like, "This is the end for you, bro."
Yeah.
So he literally messaged, and I looked at my phone. I was like, "Oh shit!" Like Joe's about to get fired.
I was like, I kind of wanted to get fired. Yeah, I was kind of asking for it.
Out. So then when Joe got let go, then he called me and he was like, "I assume that because I let go of Joe that you're gonna leave too." And I was like, "Yeah," but at the time I had said to him, I said, "Listen, there's no hard feelings. Like we worked together for a while, and obviously it just doesn't work anymore, and it is what it is, and we'll move on." And things got very contentious between me and him, only on his part. Like he got very mad at me and started talking shit about me, saying all the things that I never did anything to him in the first place. I literally gave him all of my entire creative prowess was based around what I was doing with his project and his name.
You were like devoted to creating content.
It was
material
like just
for him.
after I had met him, just after I got sober. So just a couple weeks ago, I celebrated 3 years without a drink of alcohol. Thank you. And just after I got sober, it was like right after COVID, and I met him, and he was just willing to give me a bunch of gigs. And I was like, I'm trying not to drink, so I was like, I'm just gonna throw myself into my music.
Because I was like, peace out, bro.
You were?
Well,
yeah, that was before.
He tried to tell people that he fired me when I quit.
Yeah, he quit. Which he told me that he fired him, but that's the way this guy works. So he gave me a lot of work and everything like that, and I was writing a lot at the time, and it was honestly it was really awesome, and it really kind of turned around and gave me the opportunity to be able to play music for a living, which is what I do now. And I am forever grateful for that opportunity to be able to do that. And the best thing I got out of it was these two idiots. Was the fact that I was able to procure this friendship between the three of us.
Even though it might not look like that.
Yeah, from the outside. But that's why it's been like. But if everybody knows, if you're in a close family, you're gonna fight.
Yeah, no.
But we fight all the time, but it's never like serious.
No, and I see you guys, and it's like that's the kind of sense of humor that I have with people too. So
So I'm a gigantic asshole. I'm just like a big sarcastic ass, and but they understand that, and that's just the way I speak. So, right. But yeah.
speaking code.
You do well.
Speaking code.
Like it's half English, half Aquila-ish. It's very hard to understand. But yeah. So
whatever comes out. Right?
Yeah. So after that whole situation happened, Aquila bugged me about being in a band, and I said no. And then he got Joe involved.
He started bugging me.
And then Joe caved, and then they both started bugging me, and I said no. And then I was like, fuck it, let's just try it. And we started playing, we were in a reggae band. We started playing all this reggae music, and we were like, this is boring. We're very bored.
Very quickly, we were like, I don't think this is going to work.
Yeah, I don't think
us.
all this reggae stuff's going to work. So then we just sort of started playing whatever the hell we want and created what is the Shake now.
Right, and I was gonna say, yeah, you guys don't do reggae anymore.
Pop
I've
punk
listened
surprise.
Yeah,
There's elements every once in a while, but
I think
it's not a big thing.
It's
for
a very
us.
rhythmic based songs. Like a lot of it comes from, like a lot of the early tunes were derived from reggae tunes, and then sort of, because the thing is that like he likes heavier music. He likes heavier music. Like we're all just love heavy music, but we were all in a reggae band for some reason.
Yeah.
Not that we don't like reggae music. Like I love reggae music.
I know why I was in the reggae band.
When
Well,
were you in the band?
So I wasn't in jail and probably died.
Okay, well,
Well then.
that's. Well, I mean, it does. I
Right?
mean, music is a source of therapy for all of us, and I think that's what. And one of the things that we got that was sort of taken advantage, how he took advantage of us was really kind of tapping in the fact that we all relied on music as a source of therapy.
As a coping.
Yeah, so he saw that and just kind of harped on that, and then turned it in. He essentially weaponized us into what he wanted to do, and then when we fought back, then
He didn't like that,
Yeah, he didn't
obviously.
like that, and he
Yeah.
got rid of us.
That's disgusting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he always said that a band is always replaceable. Everybody's replaceable. And the one thing that I always say about us is that none of us are. And at any point in time, if he leaves or if I leave, it's
done.
over.
Yeah.
There's no more Shake. Never, ever, ever. That's it.
Or Dominic.
Or Dominic. Yeah.
If we don't have a
Yeah.
TM, we're not the Shake. So
I mean, he's on the fence.
Going on tour, I probably still need a TM.
Yeah.
I'll probably get in trouble.
Yeah, well, if it wasn't for Dominic, Aquila would have gotten a lot of trouble on tour.
So Dominic is the babysitter as far as
He
I'm
is.
concerned.
Yeah.
Sort of to a point. Sort of to a point.
You're really good at remembering
No
words.
more TM, bro.
I don't know how to say that.
Speaking of tour, Too Poor to Tour.
Yes.
Whose idea was it?
The name?
No, like doing a whole, doc on tour.
So that was actually an idea. It wasn't ours. Somebody.
that's kind of my
Another
fault.
one
I
of
kind of.
those guys
it's-
like the big
honestly,
guy
it's kinda
before.
my fault.
Yeah.
So this guy came up to us. He was a friend of a friend.
He
and
was. Should
Friend
I?
of Joe's.
You could tell me.
Okay. So there was this guy. He had this idea of filming like a tour documentary of like a self-funded DIY tour, and he was just approaching the wrong people with it. And I was like, well, if anybody's going to take it seriously, it's going to be us.
Oh,
We
guys
just
took it
didn't-
so serious.
Well, serious enough
To
to
a point.
actually do
Yeah,
it,
I get it.
serious enough to actually get
you
it
get
done.
it though. You get it.
And what ended up happening was the role kind of switched, where the guy that brought us the idea ended up pretty much backing out. Like he wasn't serious enough. He kind of flaked on us. So we basically had already booked the tour. Everything was already full swing. So we were lucky enough to but we know our buddy Justin at Live Music Community, and he was just an
Crazy
amazing
enough.
person. Yeah. And
Definitely
I'll
crazy.
go out with you guys for 2 weeks. That's okay.
that, yeah.
Yeah. It was an idea that was brought to us. We had no plan on doing a tour, doing an East Coast tour. We booked the whole tour. We rented an RV, $2,000 to rent an RV. We did the whole entire thing, and then last minute he's like, "Yeah, I'm not going to be able to do it." So now we had rented this RV. We had booked these dates, and we're like, "Fuck, what are we supposed to do?"
You guys had mentioned the RV brand so many times that I was like, oh, they got that RV sponsored.
Nope.
But
Not at all.
Not
that shit
really.
was
I mean,
disgusting.
They gave us a discount.
It was a discount.
Oh, you haven't seen the worst of it.
It gets way worse.
It gets way worse. But we still have, we had a friend of ours that helped us out with paying for it, but we got this RV and we booked this whole tour and everything like that, and then it turned into he couldn't do it anymore. He just flaked.
Right.
And in the beginning he was like, "Oh, I have friends that are Netflix producers. Like we can be able to do this whole entire thing," and we were like so stoked. We're
Very
like, "Holy
much
shit,
overhyped.
so
They told us a lot of
bullshit."
Right.
Yeah.
On the silver platter.
Yeah. And this is something that this is the second time that we've had this situation. But we were lucky, like he said, our friend Justin Hucker from Live Music Community he donated his time, and he came on the road with us, and he filmed with an iPhone, and we had a great time. It was honestly one of the best times, even though it was a disaster halfway through. Still, like at the very last show, I think he said, what would happen if the RV would roll up right now, and all of us were like, we'd get right back on that.
Yeah,
RV
we'd definitely
right now,
do it again.
regardless of anything that happened. It was one of the best 2 weeks that I've ever had in my life.
Right.
And
it looked like a lot of fun.
It was. I mean, it was. There
a
was
lot of fun.
definitely highlights and definitely lowlights. But there was a moment before where it was really touch and go. Where we're like, what were we supposed to do? Like, we just booked this. So like, we're a new band. Like, you can't book a tour as a new band and then all of a sudden be like,
Yeah, we're not going on tour.
Yeah, we're
by
just
the
gonna
way.
bail on all this stuff. Like, we look like assholes.
Right.
So we were like, we're just gonna have to figure it out. So we crowdfunded. We had a bunch of people that came out and donated food for us.
We had a show at a venue that is unfortunately no longer around.
Third and
Third
Delray.
and it was like basically like a drive for us to get what we needed for the road the night before we left.
Yeah, they hit us up last minute to be like, hey, if you guys want an extra show, come out and play, and then we'll help you out. We did like a raffle and everything like that.
Yep.
We raised money to be able to get out on the road. We wound up coming back way broker than we left.
Oh,
But,
yeah.
I mean, that's how it goes.
But you got out there.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
sure people out there were like, yeah, the shake.
Yep. We're a local band, man. Like, nobody really gives a shit about us. We went there, and this is the one thing that we always pride ourselves on, is that even though we're not bringing 4,000 people to every show, we're going to show up and we're going to be the most professional band that you deal with. We're going to do our fucking job.
We get that all the time. Like, we play around a lot. When it comes down to getting shit done or show, whatever, it's a job. We're professional about it. We're not going crazy. Like, I do all of this here, but on shows, I'm ready to go. I'm putting my shit on and let's go.
No, dude, I saw you fill in for like 4 or 5 bands.
Oh
one
yeah,
day.
Backyard Bash. Yeah, that was 3 bands.
I still do.
Yeah, we do. I mean, we lend ourselves to a lot of different bands. So like Dominic. Like I play drums with Dominic and his band. He also has filled in when I was able to go. Joe plays bass with him. We also have Rocky. That's part of our crew that plays bass as well. So we're all sort of interchangeable. It's like a tight knit little family and stuff like that. But we pride ourselves in being the most professional. Like, we're always going to be there. We're going to be there on time. We ran our sound for 90% of the shows that we played when we were on tour, which is like most of the time. We always have to run our own sound. I'm always
try to make it easier for them. And
yeah.
Basically, we just plug and play. Here's your stuff, bro. We did your work.
Yeah. Because it's just easier that way.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, you want it to be smooth for everybody involved.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because it's like, it's unfortunate because not a lot of bands have the ability to be able to, or know how to be able to run their own sound, or what to be able to do, who to ask for what and why and everything like that. So it's nice to be able to be helpful to other communities as well as ours.
Right. So on the show, we like to touch on, what was on your playlist as like a teenager and that kind of stuff. What got you into local music? What got you to play instruments?
Yeah. Whenever he giggles like that, you're worried. Yeah.
You'll hear all types.
See, now you're starting to understand where we're coming from.
I'm gonna start with Joe.
I guess that's probably the easiest one.
Yeah,
I don't know.
You're still a teenager, right?
Yeah.
You got it.
No, my
Birthday.
parents probably brought me up on a lot of like classic rock. I got into reggae around high school, and I kind of like
Still in high school.
right,
It's not true.
right, and kind of like in the past couple of years, honestly, since hanging out with these assholes, I've more so gotten back into listening to heavier stuff. I listen to a lot more instrumental stuff.
This is the only
now.
motherfucker on the planet that will be like, yo, you got to hear that. No, you got to hear this B-side. No, you got to hear this B-side Mudvayne song.
Yep, I knew he was gonna say that.
You just be like, yo, dude, this dude,
Ryan
that
Martini
second.
is one of the all-time greats.
He's the
okay?
only person in the world I've ever met that pushes stands so hard for Mudvayne. It's great. But they're
in the middle of that.
well, yeah, it's a little bit.
My dad listens to a lot of country, so I did grow up listening to a lot of country as well. And I've recently gotten back into it because I'm doing a fill-in. And I forgot how much I liked it growing up.
Yeah. He knows how to play the spoons, the whole entire thing.
I do.
Oh, wow,
I
okay.
play the spoons, washboard, all that.
Yeah. He's as white as they come.
I grew up playing that in a church.
Showed up on tour, by the way.
Showed up twice. Yeah.
Dude,
Twice?
Yeah.
that was one of the funniest things because Dominic was like, "Yo, dude, you got to get a picture with that old guy that just bought a hat." Turns out it was Joe's dad. We had never met him before, so we had no idea.
I like purposely didn't tell them it was my dad to see if anything weird would happen like that.
He
and
knew.
it was perfect. It fell right into place. I told Aquila because I was like, dude, I don't know. I was talking to him about not knowing if my dad was going to be able to make it or not. And then he got there. I was like, yo, Aquila is my dad. Let's surprise him. And it was perfect. He like lined it up.
It was well. Aquila comes in and goes, "I got a surprise for you," and I'm like, "What?" And he just kept saying that. Like we played the whole show.
I was the one that said I got a surprise.
No. He comes up to me and that's what he said. I got a surprise for you.
And you were terrified.
I was terrified, and the whole entire show, I'm like, "What the fuck is gonna happen after the show?" And then he's like, "It's Joe's dad." I was like, "That was the surprise." Like I was nervous.
Surprise, I kept saying surprise because before the show, I almost got into an altercation with somebody outside.
Well, that's true. Yes.
So I kept saying, "Got a surprise for you."
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Yeah. It just turned out being Joe's dad.
That's a happy surprise.
No, it was
but
great.
It was
and
perfect because
his dad's awesome.
Dominic said what he said, and it was amazing.
No, but I mean, the surprise wasn't Aquila kicked somebody's ass.
No. Even though the guy did chest him, but
It was going to be.
it was for a moment
I was going to be locked up in the Capitol.
in the Capitol. That was the one thing. Please do not get arrested
Locked up
in Washington
the
D.C.
Capitol, and I was like, oh,
Please, dear God, don't get
Aquila,
arrested in
Korea,
Washington
capital
D.C.
crimes.
Angel Aquila, Demon Aquila, like going at him like TM's inside.
Dude, that's the night we took the picture that,
Do the
that
angel
he
and
looks
the
like the
demon
angel
understand each
too.
No, I had to shut them both down. Like TM's inside. TM's inside. His only job was to keep me out of jail, and I'm about to go.
No. We survived, obviously.
All right, Ricky, your background in music. How'd you get started?
My dad is a singer-songwriter, and my dad is Cuban, but I don't speak any Spanish. Yes, well, I don't know why you have to say that every single time we go through this, but
Because it's
Maybe he learned.
maybe he'll learn, but it's just
No,
kind of
I
one of
won't.
those things where
Papas
my,
fritas.
Like my mom can
As
spot
far as
them.
I'm going.
No, my mom can spot them. My mom will be like, they look like they're Hispanic. I'm like, oh yeah, they don't speak Spanish though. Like it's just the comment you make.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. Well, because my father was born in Cuba, and he moved here when he was obviously very young, and he was made fun of because he couldn't speak English. So when I was born, when my sister was born, he didn't teach us Spanish because he wanted us to be well spoken.
Right.
So that was it. But then I don't know any Spanish. I get made fun of by Spanish people all the time.
Welcome to Miami.
Yeah. That's why I don't come here very often.
Bienvenidos
I don't want to get shamed for my Cuban heritage. But my dad was a singer-songwriter. He was really into the Beatles. He shoved the Beatles down my throat my entire life, and I fucking hated the Beatles because of it. And but I loved Motown. I loved 50s music. I was obsessed with a lot of like 50s rock and roll. And then in middle school, I found Slipknot, and it changed my life. And I was like, now this is music that I know my dad will fucking hate.
Right.
This is my music.
It was a rebellion.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you
So
didn't teach me Spanish. Fuck you.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly why. I love Slipknot, and then I did Coal Chamber and that whole scene and everything like that. And then later on in high school became like pop punk, Fall Out Boy, Newfound Glory, Good Charlotte, all that stuff like that. And that's when I started like actually playing music, and all that music was so simple. I was like, shit, I could do this. So then I just started essentially mimicking a lot of what that genre was, and then turned into what it is now. But I was honestly writing like that for so long up until I met these guys. Mm-hmm. And it was really Joe who just writes the weirdest fucking shit on the planet. It's a weird shit.
I like riffs, man.
Yeah, and I was
like
never
riffs.
a big riff guy and never really cared about that stuff. And then
Something to break up the monotony of a song. Just,
Yeah, no, totally.
It helps the song come across
he
so
was
much
100%
more.
right, and I was able to sort of take my understanding of what I did.
He
then-
surprises me a lot with a lot of the shit that I'll introduce him to with like my writing style, and then he'll show it back to me in a new way, and I'm
Yeah.
like, how the fuck?
It's just because
awesome,
I do enjoy it, but it's like that. It's sort of like what I started listening to when I started rebelling musically up until now, and it's sort of all like this has become like an amalgamation of all of that, which has been really nice.
I just find it funny it was done in rebellion.
I think that one of the best things about
It
this
is.
project was that
It was-
it was done in
This is
rebellion.
rebellion.
And then like there's always a new
There's
like
something
quote
to rebel
unquote
against.
enemy.
Yeah.
Whether it's Lou or whether it's I don't know, gatekeepers in general or venue owners. Sometimes it's like but we've always found that we're always stronger together. So like this sense of rebellion has been the sort of like through line through most of our music, which has been awesome.
We canceled.
It's a bit of fuel.
Not we cancel, but things go wrong the day of a show where we're there. If it doesn't happen, we just find another one the same night, the same place.
I think we've had like what?
That's happened 4
three
times.
consecutive tours where we've had to come up. We had a show in New Orleans where we were 3 hours away, and I got an email saying, "Oh, the show's canceled." And so
The venue hadn't even been open.
no, the venue
Yeah.
closed down like
Yeah.
a week before that. Nobody told us.
Yep.
So we literally, huh?
What venue? Good.
It's
something,
called
is it?
Midnight Revival was the place.
we got Mr.
Oh,
New Orleans
boy.
in the building.
Oh.
Oh boy.
I don't think that place ever existed.
Yeah. Well, no, we actually went up. We actually went up there, and there was a building that said Midnight Revival, but
It was a
next to
ghost
it,
town,
yeah,
man.
next to it was like no, what was it? It was the Frenchman Hotel was right next to it.
Yeah.
And I went inside and I asked the woman, and she goes, "Oh, that closed down a month ago." And I was like, "Oh, that's great." So like we literally get there. We're like 4 hours outside of New Orleans. We drove straight 11 hours from home to New Orleans. 4 hours is how we find out. Well, the show was the next day. So now we're literally just walking up and down all the streets in New Orleans. Hey, you need a band? You need a band? It's fucking New Orleans. Everybody booked.
has a band.
So we wound up talking to, we went to Santos Bar, and they have a sister bar that's like outside of Frenchman Street. What the hell was the name of the place? Oh, Sydney Saloon. And they're like, you could play here. I'm like, okay, cool. You know, you're going to have to run your own sound. No big deal. We do it all the time. So we get there and everything like that. We pull up in front of this venue, and the owner goes, "Is that where you're going to park?" We're like, "Yeah." He goes, "Okay, because they'll rob you in broad daylight out here." I'm like, cool.
Just
Wonderful.
making sure you're parking there so I can steal your
Yeah,
shit.
yeah, exactly. And we played that show, and that was a makeup show, and there was 3 people there, and it was the bartender's homie, the bartender's friend,
Yep.
yeah, and then the bartender's friend's girlfriend, and
She was digging it.
yeah, and
That's what matters.
Yep.
her name is Claire.
Okay.
Claire was getting down.
The bartender and the bartender's friend fucked off. They just didn't care, and it was just Claire. So he played solo acoustic,
But we made it happen.
and we played our set to Claire. And almost every single time we're on the road, and we have a really good crowd, we always talk
We're
about
like,
Claire.
nothing compares to Claire.
Claire is the best. We gave her all the merch she wanted, everything like that, and she was awesome.
If you guys ever like make it to be like a huge band, or when, manifesting,
I appreciate
Claire's
that.
gonna be like, I got
know
a
that guy.
private
Yeah, yeah.
performance, bitches.
Yeah, Claire was awesome, and we were supposed to be going back to New Orleans not too long ago, and we hit her up, and she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna bring out the homies," but we wound up having to
that's
cancel that
awesome.
tour, which is unfortunate. But there's like those moments right there, like that's what make or break a lot of like local bands. Like, can you still be able to play the show to one person, or do you have to play it to 300 people?
Yeah.
And that's why and Claire got a fucking show that night. And we didn't get robbed, thank God.
It was 2 wins.
Yeah, exactly. We left with our lives and a new friend.
All right, Aquila, what's your background in music?
Oh yeah, we're still talking about that.
So I grew up playing in church, so I have church music background, smooth jazz.
Big smooth jazz guy.
Yep.
We listen to it all the time on tour.
Jazz Aquila.
Yeah, nobody really looks at me and thinks that I listen to that type of music, but I love smooth jazz. I grew up on lots of reggae and like Brazilian jazz and things like that. And then through high school, it was more like A Day to Remember, I Prevail, and all these undergrounds, really heavy music. So, and then now I'm getting old. I just like no music in the car.
Your car's so loud. How the hell do you hear
Yeah.
anything anyways?
Exactly, that's the music.
Yeah.
So you started playing in the church.
Yeah, my dad was a drummer, so he kind of
Your dad was a drummer? I didn't know that. Oh.
yeah.
His dad does
My
everything.
dad
Got it.
didn't let me go outside and play with the kids or play soccer or anything before I studied 3 hours drum, and he sat in the other side of the room listening
Damn.
because he was a drummer himself. But then when I started playing better than him, he started picking up the guitar. So he plays the guitar.
I knew you played guitar. I didn't know you played drums too.
Oh, that's crazy.
Well, he doesn't show it because he got offended, that I got better.
Well, more better?
Yeah, more better.
Jeez.
Okay, so which one of you guys are actually in More Better, or is it just the same band over again?
It's essentially
You just said copy paste.
it's essentially us with our friend Brett.
That
Brett,
used to play with us of Blue too.
yeah. He was another one of the fallen soldiers of that group, and so More Better is just essentially just like it's like a reggae side project, like going back to like the roots of like how we started this whole entire thing, and it's fun, but it'll make us some money. Because the reality of it is that like the shake is like not something that we're depending on for money.
Okay.
It's an artistic
passion
It's
project.
We write music for musicians and for people who really give a shit about music.
Okay.
And More Better is more like
For everybody.
for drunk white people on Atlantic Avenue.
That's where the money's at.
Dude, I literally played there last night.
night.
That's exactly what it is. Confusing white people.
It just reminded me of what my boyfriend always mentions it, but the artistic community, like on Reddit, they're always like, yeah, when you really hit rock bottom, you can just start making a custom art for furries.
Mm-hmm.
It's soul sucking, but at least it makes money.
I mean, I went to Nashville once and it was horrible. And I played a show in Nashville, which was nice, but going up and down Broadway, it's like a musician zoo. There's just like musicians in cages, and all they're doing is people just throwing money at them, and they're just playing fucking Wagon Wheel over and over again. You go from every bar is the Wagon Wheel, Wagon Wheel, Wagon Wheel, and I can't like it's so soul sucking to watch it happen, but I do it. I mean, like I do it like 4 nights a week. That's how I make my living.
Right.
But sometimes you just have to suck it up to be able to do it.
I just played one of those shows, boy.
Yeah, I mean, like he does it. We all do it because we have to pay our bills.
9 to 1
Except for
in the
Dominic.
morning.
Dominic refuses to play Sweet Caroline.
Oh man.
Pop, pop, pop.
He won't do it.
He won't do it. I made
He will-
$300
he
making
will play
playing
Sublime. He
Sweet
finally
Caroline
broke
in
on Sublime.
Nashville, but he won't do it. Yeah.
Soul sucking.
Soul sucking,
Yeah,
very much so.
so.
But hey,
Well, it's still nice that even though it's soul sucking, it's not like you're stuck at some office job where you're like, wow,
But,
completely soulless.
well, no, but you do have to
There
remind
are
yourself.
things
I mean,
that-
like out of all of us, I probably gig the most. Me and Dominic probably gig the most. I probably have the highest amount of gigs, and I do a lot of cover gigs with multiple different projects. And I always have to remind myself, like, I have the best fucking job on the planet. Like, don't be an asshole about this. Like, if somebody asks for a song, just play the goddamn song. It's what you're here for.
Myself on Tuesday that this is my job.
This is your job. This is your job. And
But I was
sometimes
playing with one hand.
you got to clock in and clock out. That's just part of it. But I mean, you just have to understand. It's like, yes, you're not stuck at a desk. It's not a 9 to 5. Granted, there's no 401ks, there's no health insurance or anything like that. But it's still the best fucking job in the world.
Right. You have to do what you love.
Exactly.
Yeah. I refuse to do something I don't like.
Exactly. That's why we do this.
I don't get up and go if I don't like it. No, nothing can pay me.
I've lost entirely too many jobs for like. I worked in radio,
Right.
and I lost my job because I fucking hated working in radio.
Oh,
No
wow.
offense, but no comment from Dan.
He's been working in radio his whole life.
Yeah. So I worked in radio, and a part of being in that environment where I was trying to be creative and I was being stifled was part of the reason why I started going down the hole of drinking as much as I did.
Oh, wow.
And it's like it turned into that, but it was like when I got sober, I realized that was sort of where it started, and I was doing something that I thought I really liked, and it turns out I hated it, and I was just forcing myself to do it every single day. And then now that's what turned into that. Now I get to do what I absolutely love, and I still bitch about it every once in a while, but it's
Right.
way better than what I was doing before.
Right. I'm gonna need a list of all the songs that you hate covering, so at the next.
Yeah,
gig
you don't
I
have
go
that kind of
to,
time.
I'm
You
gonna-
don't have that kind of time.
Just like 10 of them.
Okay,
so
I'll say the top
piss you off one
10.
night.
I appreciate it.
Those requests can be made on the back of a $100 bill.
Yes, please. Write them on the back of a $100 bill and put it into a tip jar.
Okay. I'm gonna start asking you guys for some relationship advice. I don't know if you guys watch the show.
Relationship advice.
Relationship advice.
This
for
is
strangers
all
on the
Aquila.
internet.
You can't ask me for that. I'm
all
I'm
Aquila.
cutthroat, man.
You're cutthroat. I am too.
I'm cutthroat. I'll tell you how it is. If you like it, you don't. Bye. I feel better.
But that's what these people need. They're strangers on the internet.
Okay.
I need a dump his ass button. That's basically what I.
Jeez.
Because that's what I resort to.
I can help you with
It's
that
aggressive.
one. I'm good at that one.
All right. Is it time to end it or continue working on it? This is a 22-year-old female who is dating a 23-year-old male, have been dating for 4 years, and have had a couple of rocky days.
Couple.
A couple of rocky days, yeah. I've been extremely
A couple in
frustrated.
4 years?
That's where I'm
It
at.
sounds like get over it already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Just wait until you hear what
Oh,
she's
these rocky days?
Yeah, what these rocky
Was
days
it
are
like
about.
gunfire and stuff?
I've been extremely frustrated by some things in our relationship which have been going on for the entirety of our time as a couple. And he has some pretty bad habits that I don't think will change. First one, he hasn't introduced me to his family
In 4 years?
in 4 years.
That's a problem.
Does he have a family?
I think he is waiting until he's ready to propose or when he's reached success, aka having a house, a nice car, etc. He comes from a family that doesn't approve of dating, in quotes, so he's been pretty much hiding this from everyone, but I think his siblings might know what's going on.
If they're alive. This person sounds like a fucking serial killer.
Or if he's fit, what ethnicity is he?
Oh, it doesn't specify.
Because there's some ethnicities that don't, like Hindu, Indian people. They can't
Yeah.
really date. They
Oh,
can't
I guess
kiss,
so.
They can't
Yeah.
do anything.
I guess
Their
so.
parents need
Yeah,
to, like,
but
Usually when you're in that
but you
can't
made
date
it too
situation-
serious. It's supposed to be funny, Aquila.
Usually when people are
I'm
in that...
Dr. Aquila right now.
No, you're
okay?
not. Please, dear God, never call yourself that again.
Usually when
Good
people are
advice.
in the can't date situation, by the time that they're 23, they've had an arranged marriage.
I would
Like,
assume.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that too.
All right.
But
Debunked.
anyways.
Now shut up.
2, his mom has cleaned up for him his whole life, so I think he lives with his mom at this point.
Oh.
He doesn't wash dishes. He only uses plastic plates. He doesn't clean his room. He hasn't used a vacuum.
He's lazy.
And getting him to wash dishes when he's at my house because I cooked for him is like yelling at a wall.
He's lazy.
We do have a positive. He's very sweet and usually will make time for me when I ask.
Yeah, so does a dog.
No, you never have to ask the dog.
That's true. Yeah.
Unconditional
So that's one
love.
less step
Exactly.
right there. Yeah, get a Pomeranian.
Okay, what should she do? I'm done reading.
Oh, there's more?
Well, no, it was just we've been on a couple of vacations. It says, I'm a very dramatic and anxious person at times, and he's pretty calm in a neutral way, so he calms me down. Overall, he's very positive and very supportive. It's just these 2 things that I cannot stand.
I think I need to meet him in person.
Well, I don't. No. That's definitely never. Is this someone you know? Is this someone random on the internet?
This is a random Reddit post.
Okay.
I do not know this person.
Yeah.
I
Well,
say, let
he
it
sounds like
go,
he sounds like a
let it
serial killer.
go.
4 years and not meeting the person's family. That's a red
giant
flag.
red
That's a
flag.
red flag.
Yeah.
That's the reddest of all flags.
Right.
Yeah. Joe, any thoughts?
Well, wait, how?
In 4 years.
No. Yeah. That.
He's
but
only
also-
8. That's like half
But
of his
also,
life.
if he lives with his mother, you haven't met the fam. I'm a little confused on that.
Right?
I don't think he lives with
Oh, that's
his
a good
with his
point, too.
family. If she hasn't been introduced, I
Maybe
think
they
he's
all
just
live in the
lazy
basement.
as
Probably
hell.
got others, just saying.
What?
He's got another bitch on
Maybe
the
that's
side.
why. Maybe that's why he always uses plastic plates. He's like always on the go. He's like can't leave any fucking evidence. Plastic plates. Does he eat with gloves?
He never goes to his house, her house. It's like date there, date there.
Yeah.
Man.
He lives out of a shipping container under the highway.
Wife is at home waiting for his ass. That's what's happening.
Yeah, he lives in a mansion in Boynton. Jeez.
You got wife 1, wife 2, and you the 3.
Damn. Except,
So yeah, get a Pomeranian.
get a Pomeranian and we got to get the dump his ass button. All right,
Wow.
guys, this is your shameless plug moment. Whatever you want to let everybody know, go ahead and, promote.
Oh, no.
I was like, what are you gonna say?
You know what? You promote Aquila.
Yeah, let's do that.
What am I promoting?
There we go. That's yeah.
Aquila doesn't know 90% of the things we actually do. He just shows up. He just gets us there safely. That's our big thing.
What does Aquila want to shout out today?
Yeah, what does Aquila want to shout out today?
Dump his ass.
Well, I don't.
Shout out to the Shake Van for getting us down here.
Yeah, it's on its last legs.
Hey, Teak.
Yeah,
You
shout
the
out to
man,
Teak.
dog.
Yeah.
We
We have a Teak talk.
we have released a lot of music this year. We've done 3 EPs and a live album. We have our first full album that's going to be out in November. It's going to be kind of a culmination of everything, and then we're going to be using that to kick off our final tour for the year. It's called Escape the Avalanche Tour with Dominic Delaney, and it's going to be full band Dominic Delaney plus us, and we're doing like this like weird like kind of hook thing, going to Nashville, and
We end up in Maine.
we end up in Portland, Maine, which is going to be great in November. And so that's really what we're doing. So if you go to our Instagram or everything like that, please send us money because it's
Or check
very,
us out
very
on
hard to
Bandcamp.
tour. We do have a Bandcamp. And this actually, what I really want to plug is whenever you see a band that you really like, where am I looking? Wherever you see a band that you really like, don't go to their Spotify, don't go to their Facebook, don't go to their Instagram. Find their fucking Bandcamp, because that is the only thing that's actually making anybody money now. So if you go there, you can be able to buy merch. You can be able to buy digital copies of albums. You can do whatever. You can just chat with them. You can just send them a couple bucks. And it's an amazing tool that can actually create some type of capital for bands to be able to do the things that they want to do. Because entirely too many times, there's bands that are so good that can't do anything because they're just financially strapped. So go to Bandcamp, support Bandcamp, download the app on your damn phone, and that's the best way. Spotify pays shit. 0.003 per stream. We're getting nothing for it. So please support local. Support your local bands. That's what really matters.
I just want to redeem Aquila a little bit because you said he doesn't know anything and he knows where the tour ends up.
he did know where we're going.
That's the only thing he's focused on because it's cold
That's
and
all
his
he
joints
has
start
to
hurting when
know.
it gets too cold because he's an old fucking man.
He's also the driver, so it's really all he has to know is where to get us.
Listen, I'm driving half the time.
Gracias.
There, I'm
Yeah.
driving half the time, and I don't know until I put it in the GPS. So
back up.
God
I'm here
damn
for
it.
you, Aquila. But
You're
anyways,
the only one.
Yeah, I'm glad that you're. I'm glad that you're pushing Bandcamp. I honestly didn't know. So
Yeah, Bandcamp. All
Yeah.
the bands that you've had on this podcast, almost all of them have Bandcamps.
Okay.
And like that's a way that you can be able to go on there and like we did. They do these things called Bandcamp Fridays, where all of the fees are waived by Bandcamp, and you can buy things directly from the bands, and they will actually get every single cent that you give them. And there's an option that like if it's like a $10 album, you can
donate.
You can put more in there. You can pay
Yeah.
$20 for it. Like we've had that a couple times where we've done some like flash sales, and somebody will pay $20 for a digital copy of an album because that's a way to support. I mean, obviously showing up to shows is really important too, but
I was going to say, you can buy physical merch too.
Yeah,
from us at a show.
100%. But everybody on the internet, they automatically go to Spotify or they go to Apple Music or anything like that. But we don't make any money from that.
All right.
And it's great, but I mean, like it gets us to the masses. But people are paying way more attention to the actual app of Spotify itself, that the music is becoming nameless.
Right.
It's like it doesn't make a difference. It's just a noise that you hear, and then there's no face that's attached to it. So Bandcamp is the way to be able to really support local artists.
Okay, fair enough. Go to their Bandcamp, and we'll catch you guys next time on the Senior Citizen Podcast.
Yeah.
Peace out.
Peace.